Good afternoon. My name is Kwabena Nkrumah. I'm a candidate for Atlanta City Council District 4, and this is Steve Williams with Building Greener. And we're here at the Ashview Heights Community Garden, which is in southwest Atlanta, in the Ashview Heights area of District 4, close to Martin Luther King and Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. We're here today to talk with you about the rainwater catchment ordinance that's being proposed to City Council. We have concerns about the source of this legislation, what is the purpose and the intent, the public policy goal to be achieved. But overarchingly, we're interested in exempting community sites like this community garden that uses rainwater catchment for irrigation purposes. We want ironclad and consistent exemption from sites like this from the fees and the police action associated with this ordinance. I'm going to give Mr. Williams a few moments to explain the context in which water catchment is currently done in Atlanta and the ideal regulation that would occur. And then I'd like to come back and talk about what we are trying to do in terms of advocacy for urban agriculture. Steve?
Hi. Currently, most people are using rainwater harvesting for irrigation, gardens, landscapes, that kind of thing. A lot of people are using rain barrels, which for most applications aren't sufficient, but more and more people are using rainwater harvesting. Currently, if you're not connected to the City of Atlanta water mains for backup, there are no regulations, which is good because you're collecting the water and using it on your property. I think the problem with the regulation is in the billing, so that if people did want to collect larger systems to water their gardens or their landscapes, they're going to be billed for the whole use of the storage. Currently, the bill says you're billed a fee for each 75 gallons of storage. Doesn't matter how much water you're using, you're billed for the amount that you're capturing. So in regards to irrigation and things like that, it's a cost prohibitive for you to build in irrigation needs into your rainwater system, or you have to put in a separate system. Orange County, California has a program for potable rainwater, and they bill on the estimated usage or by putting in a meter. Something along this lines, I think, is more fair to the consumer and would help promote rainwater harvesting.
Thank you, Steve. So actually, we are supportive of this legislation's intent, which is to regulate and to protect the city from incurring costs that are not being compensated for. Our concern again is whether this is actual need at this point in the city's use of water. What I would like to do to try to explain some of our concerns is read from a memorandum that was provided by Bill Hoskins, the Interim Director of Sustainability for the City of Atlanta, and Jenna Zweig, the Project Manager for the Office of Sustainability. This memorandum was issued to neighborhood planning units all over the city. They have one subheading that says context, that the city seeks to be a global leader in sustainability initiatives. We support that goal. That the city residents want guidelines for potable rainwater catchment systems. I suppose that's true. I've not heard that, but that seems reasonable. The city should establish minimum criteria under which potable rainwater catchment systems for residential use may operate. That's reasonable. And the city needs to identify an effective billing method for the wastewater treatment of rainwater. Again, reasonable and something we are in agreement with. They list another subheading for stakeholders. They list the City of Atlanta residents requested permission to install rainwater catchment systems for potable use. We are asking for the number of residents that actually requested the permission to install rainwater catchment systems. We'd like to know the regions of the city in which those requests came from predominantly, so that we can have some sense of where the demand for this use is coming from, and whether it actually is a significant number of people. Secondly, they said the city worked with various departments internally, such as the Department of Watershed Management and the Department of Law, the American Rainwater Catchment System Association, and the president, and an EPA expert and regional specialist to tailor potable rainwater guidelines for Atlanta residents. Well, Mr. Williams informed me that there were some national experts that would be available to have designed this legislation more effectively, and we are interested in referring the Office of Sustainability to these national experts because we believe this legislation is poorly designed. And then under another subheading called Plumbing and Public Health Protection, this is where our real concerns come into play. They state that the Office of Sustainability recognizes the importance of preventing any access to the city water supply through a rainwater catchment system. Again, we agree. To protect the city's water supply from cross-contamination and in accordance with the International Plumbing Code, all rainwater catchment systems will be required to have a backflow prevention device. This is something that would be required for potable systems, but certainly not with independent systems such as the one behind us that are not connected to the water supply. And so this would not apply to urban agricultural use. And so we want clear exemptions for urban agriculture rainwater catchment. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But here's where the problem really starts, in my opinion. Additionally, the Department of Watershed Management will be able to conduct on-site evaluation or inspections of rainwater catchment systems. There are many citizens that believe that the city does not possess the right to come up to inspect these systems that are not connected to the water supply. And there's no distinction being made at this point in the legislation, as this memo indicates, that these would be exempted if they're not connected to the water supply. We don't believe that there should be any inspection at all because it has no impact on the city's infrastructure. The next bullet point says, if watershed management determines at any time that a serious threat to the public health exists, the water service will be terminated immediately. Again, we just want clarity that they mean the water service in relationship to the city supply and in relationship to potable systems, not urban agricultural systems. And so we just want more consistent and clear language around which segment of the activity that they're trying to target. And then there's some information here about billing methodology. But I just wanted to really just try to summarize and say we are not totally against this legislation. We are concerned about why it's being presented and where is the source of the impetus. And we have some anecdotal information that perhaps there's some state pressure for the city to regulate potable water usage. And we'd like to learn more about that and have a transparent process that citizens understand why this legislation is coming, because there are fees associated with it. And we're concerned about unnecessary onerous taxation. But ultimately, our biggest concern is protection of the early stages of an urban agricultural movement in this city that most citizens that I know of are very interested in: home gardens, community gardens, and large urban farms. And for those entities to be sustainable, it's critical that they be able to catch water and not have to pay for water usage for irrigation. And so we're interested in protecting this movement, and that's why we're here today.
I think it's the billing is the issue. The people that helped design the requirements for the plumbing part of it was ARCSA and the International Plumbing Codes, and those are good, solid requirements. It's just to figure out how to bill and make sure that the government doesn't take too much control over the systems as you're concerned.
That's right. That's right. So again, if you would like more information about this issue, please contact our offices at Future Metro Atlanta at gmail.com or 404-587-2227. Oh, that's 404-587-2227. We are interested in partnering with organizations that Mr. Williams is associated with, technical experts who could help design this legislation better. And we are also calling upon the Office of Sustainability to engage with the local food policy council that exists here in Atlanta. It's called the Atlanta Local Food Initiative. And they could help craft protections against the local food movement so that this legislation doesn't inadvertently cause detriment to something that most people, including most elected officials, think is a desirable character of Atlanta's future. So thank you very much for listening in and watching, and we hope to hear from you soon.